Disclaimer: this video is for educational and informational purposes only. All information presented is based on publicly available sources including news reports, court records, and official statements. This channel does not make accusations against any individual and presumes innocence until proven guilty by a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised. Names and details are presented as reported in the public domain. When love turns to obsession and possession festers into violence, what lies beneath the surface of a seemingly ordinary relationship? How does a partner once cherished become a victim of unimaginable brutality? Today, we delve into the psychological landscape of a crime that has shaken a nation, seeking to understand the darkness that can reside within the human heart. Examining the perpetrator in the Shraddha Walkar case, we can begin to construct a potential psychological profile, not as a definitive diagnosis, but as an analysis of observable behaviors and patterns often associated with severe interpersonal violence. Individuals who engage in such extreme acts often exhibit traits associated with the dark triad of personality: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Narcissism in this context might manifest as an inflated sense of self-importance, a profound need for admiration, and a lack of empathy, viewing others, including a partner, as extensions of their own ego rather than as individuals with their own feelings and rights. Machiavellianism suggests a manipulative and exploitative approach to relationships, where others are used to achieve personal goals, often with a cynical disregard for morality. Psychopathy, characterized by impulsivity, a superficial charm, and a persistent antisocial behavior, can lead to a profound lack of remorse. In cases of extreme violence like this, there's often a history of controlling behavior, possessiveness, and a tendency to blame others for their actions. The escalation from domestic disputes to murder and dismemberment points towards a deeply ingrained pattern of emotional dysregulation and a profound deficit in understanding and respecting boundaries. The ability to plan and execute such a meticulous and gruesome act suggests a calculated, rather than purely impulsive, descent into violence, often fueled by a need for ultimate control. The chilling reality of such crimes is that warning signs are often present, though they may be subtle or dismissed by those around the victim and perpetrator. In relationships that culminate in extreme violence, early indicators can include controlling behavior masked as affection, such as monitoring a partner's phone, dictating their social interactions, or isolating them from friends and family. Possessiveness can escalate to jealousy and accusations, creating an atmosphere of fear and anxiety for the victim. Emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and a pattern of blaming the victim for the perpetrator's own anger or dissatisfaction are also critical red flags. In the Shraddha Walkar case, reports suggest a history of arguments, escalating tensions, and instances where Shraddha confided in friends about Aaftab's volatile temper and controlling tendencies. The failure to recognize the severity of these behaviors, or the inability of Shraddha to escape the situation due to emotional dependence, societal pressures, or fear, highlights a critical societal blind spot. Friends and family, while concerned, may not always grasp the full extent of the danger until it is too late. The normalization of minor controlling behaviors can inadvertently pave the way for more dangerous escalations. The act itself, the murder and subsequent dismemberment, speaks volumes about the perpetrator's psychological state and motivations. While the specifics are gruesome, understanding the underlying psychology is crucial. The act of murder in this context can be seen as the ultimate expression of power and control. When a narcissist or a psychopathic individual feels their control is threatened or their ego is challenged, they may react with extreme aggression to reassert dominance. The dismemberment of the body, a horrifying act in itself, can be interpreted through the lens of a desire to erase the victim, to deny their existence, and to maintain a semblance of control even after death. It's a way of dehumanizing the victim and the crime, making it easier for the perpetrator to rationalize their actions. This level of premeditation and the subsequent efforts to conceal the crime suggest a chilling detachment and a capacity for cold, calculated behavior. The motivation is likely a complex interplay of rage, a desperate attempt to maintain absolute control over the narrative and the victim's legacy, and a profound lack of empathy that allows for such a dehumanizing act. It is an act that seeks to obliterate not just a life, but the very memory and identity of the victim. The investigation into the Shraddha Walkar case, as with many complex crimes, relied heavily on forensic psychology and meticulous detective work. The psychological profile of the perpetrator, while not evidence in itself, can guide investigators in understanding potential motives and behaviors, aiding in the interrogation process and the interpretation of evidence. Forensic psychology plays a vital role in piecing together the narrative, analyzing the perpetrator's mindset, and understanding the sequence of events. The discovery of digital evidence, such as messages and call records, often reveals patterns of behavior, escalating conflicts, and attempts at manipulation or deception, all of which are invaluable in building a case. The legal proceedings, including the filing of supplementary charge sheets, aim to present a comprehensive picture of the crime, supported by scientific and psychological insights. While the legal process can be lengthy, the pursuit of justice in such cases is driven by the need to hold the perpetrator accountable for their actions and to provide some measure of closure for the victim's loved ones. The ongoing legal proceedings underscore the complex nature of proving intent and motive in cases involving extreme violence and meticulous concealment. The Shraddha Walkar case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of recognizing and responding to domestic abuse and controlling behaviors. For individuals in relationships, it is crucial to be aware of the warning signs: excessive jealousy, possessiveness, isolation from friends and family, constant criticism, and attempts to control finances or social life. Trust your instincts. If a relationship feels unsafe or manipulative, it likely is. Open communication with trusted friends, family, or professional counselors can provide support and perspective. Societal systems, including law enforcement, social services, and even educational institutions, must be equipped to identify and intervene in situations of escalating domestic violence. Early intervention and robust support networks are critical in preventing such tragedies. Empowering victims with resources and safe avenues for escape is paramount. We must foster a culture where reporting abuse is encouraged and where victims are believed and supported without judgment. The Shraddha Walkar case compels us to look beyond the surface and understand the psychological undercurrents that can lead to such devastating violence. It highlights the critical need for awareness and vigilance in our relationships and communities. Have you ever witnessed or experienced any of these warning signs in your own life or the lives of those around you? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more in-depth analyses of complex criminal cases.